What is going on, y'all? It's Andrea here at VW Family Farm, and today I'm going to show y'all start to finish how to can your garden potatoes. The first thing you're going to need is some help. So I've recruited me some help, and we're going to walk you through this step by step. Helper 1 and helper number 2. So this is a bushel of potatoes. I'm hoping this is going to make about 4 canners full or 28 quarts. I picked bigger ones because we're going to peel these today. And so they're going to be a lot easier to peel if they're bigger. Now, some people would say don't use your biggest potatoes, use your smallest ones and don't peel them. But here's my take on it. When I first started canning potatoes, I looked into it. This was before the days of us being on YouTube and watching a whole lot of YouTube and all that. And so I was reading up on it, and it is not officially recommended to can potatoes with the peelings on. Now, with that said, I know a lot of homesteaders that do that with success, but just know that the official recommendations say to peel them. So you use your own judgment. All right, so step 1 is just peel the potatoes. You're going to need some big containers because you're going to have something to peel in and then something to put your potatoes in that you're then going to take and wash. So you may as well drag out all the big pans you have. It doesn't matter if they're like this one's aluminum. This one you can see is an old rusty canner. That's fine to just get these prepared in. It's not what you're going to cook them in. So while you are peeling, you need to fill a big pot with water and get that go ahead and heating up. This is the way to do it to save the most time. You're also going to need one more pot of hot water. You can do it with just one pot, but you'll understand why it's better to have another one here in just a minute. All right, so once you get a good amount peeled, you're going to need to wash them really well. Okay, next step, you're going to chop them, and I do it measuring in this measuring cup because it's a 4-cup measuring cup, so it's a quart. You can see right there on there. So I want to make sure I've got 14 of these to fill up 2 canners before I get this first batch going. Now, if these are really small, you can leave them whole. You can cube them. You can see I'm not quartering them. I'm doing a little more than that, but I'm not cubing them either. So you can chop them any way you want to at this point. Okay, and as I get these chopped up, I'm lowering them down into this water I've had heating. Basically the point of this is to get them hot all the way through. You're not trying to cook or boil them. If they're quarters, they're going to need to be in hot water for about 10 minutes. If they're down as small as cubes, you can go to 2 minutes. So just anywhere in between there, 2 to 10 minutes, depending on the size of your potatoes. You're just trying to get them hot. So these have heated long enough. Like I said, you're not trying to boil and cook them. So we're going to drain these, and then you're going to see where the extra pot of water comes in handy. Discard this water. You don't want to can in this water. At this point, go ahead and get your first canner. The water in there started heating. At this point, you need 7 clean, sterile jars. You're going to take and put a teaspoon of salt in each quart. If you're doing pints, use half a teaspoon. I like this Redmond's real salt. I get this from Azure Standard. I order it. So then you just get a funnel and your hot potatoes you put down in these jars right up to about, go up to the rim pretty good ways. You're going to put water in there on top of them as well. But go on up all the way to where the rim starts. So here's where the extra pot of water comes in handy, because after you fill your quarts with your potatoes, you need clean water to go in on top of them, not the water that you heated them up in. That's starchy. And so you need the clean water. You can definitely use the same pot you just used, but you're going to have to wait on it to heat up. All right, at this point, take a clean towel and wipe your rims off. Some people will do this with vinegar on it. I usually just use something clean, and it seems to work pretty well. All right, now it is time to put the lids on. Some people will heat these up in boiling water. That's your personal choice. I just make sure mine are clean and have been kept in a really clean, sterile place, and I don't have any trouble. But feel free to heat those up in a small pan of boiling water if that suits your fancy. Next step is tighten your rings down, and I just give them a good twist, pretty tight and snug. And then we're going to pop these things in the canner. So you can definitely get very expensive canners. This is just a Presto canner that came from Walmart, maybe 60 or 70 bucks. It works just great. You will have to read your canner's instructions. My canner only takes 3 quarts of water. You don't fill it up with water or anything like that. So just be sure and read the instructions for your canner. All right, so they're all in there. It holds 7 quarts. We're going to put the lid on. On my canner, you line up these arrows over here, and then it twists and locks into place. When your canning book says 10 pounds of pressure or 15 pounds of pressure, your canner will come with weights. Like this comes off of mine. This is 5 pounds of pressure. When it gets that to jiggling, it's under 5 pounds of pressure. When I put this on there and it jiggles that, it's under 10 pounds of pressure. I'm going to have Lane link a video from last year about canning green beans where I walk you all through using a pressure canner. So check that video out if you need more help just basic canning and operating a canner. But that's it. We're going to let these can. Once it gets up to pressure, again, your canner is probably different than mine. You may have a dial on top that's going to tell you when you're to a certain pounds of pressure. Mine is when that 10-pound weight starts jiggling and rocking back and forth after I've vented it for a certain amount of time and put that on. So check out that old video if you're interested in all that. But from the time I start timing my canner and when you start timing yours, you will need to can these for 40 minutes. And don't skimp on the time. Potatoes are a low acid food, so you definitely want to do every last minute that it recommends for you to do. So after it's pressured for 40 minutes, let it return to 0 pressure naturally. That means when you take this off, there's no pressure coming out. And then you're ready to take them out. You can see as these have been doing, I've got the whole next batch ready to go. That's how I do it, just working on this for an afternoon, and I can get at least 4, sometimes 6 cannerfuls done in one afternoon. You're going to very carefully take these out, and you're going to let them sit for about 24 hours. And as they cool, you will hear the lids suck down and pop and seal, and you are good to go. So I hope that helped you guys out and takes a little of the fear out of canning potatoes. It's pretty easy. They are delicious to eat in the winter. I definitely do not can all of our potatoes. These are our spring potatoes. We canned a bushel of them today, and then we've got 1 to 2 bushels left out there that we will eat off of all summer. We're growing fall potatoes. We will eat off those fresh throughout the first part of the winter, and then this is what we will eat off of the last part of the winter before we grow our next batch next year. So that's how we do it. These are great any way you want to cook them, in an air fryer, mashed up with a little butter and salt and pepper. The possibilities are endless. Potato salad, anything you can think of, these are good. They're just cooked potatoes, but they're not falling apart cooked, so you can pretty much do almost anything you want to with them. Thanks for hanging out with me. If this video helped you out on canning potatoes, please share it and subscribe if you haven't. We'd love to have you stick around. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. God bless.